In this video, we're going to break down the latest panel to play from Atomic Mass Games. It is, of course, Bobby Drake, aka Iceman. Hey guys, Rich from Rich Big Gaming. I hope everyone is doing fantastically well. Welcome to this, another Marvel Crisis Protocol video and another brand new character for us to break down. And one that I think a lot of people have been quite excited about. It is, of course, one of the members of the X-Men, Bobby Drake, aka Iceman. So let's jump over and take a look at his card. But first of all, let's take a look at his character model. So we can see there he's going to be on a medium base. That base there is one of the medium bases, and I really like the model. I'm not sure if they're doing it as the clear plastic that they have done with other models that have, sort of had similar effects on them. That'll be interesting to see. So I'm not sure if it's the normal plastic or if it's the clear plastic. I personally really hope it is normal plastic. I really don't like the fact that you really need to use sort of super glue for those clear plastics. I've found that normal plastic glue doesn't tend to work as well. They seem to be a little bit harder, a little bit denser, a lot more brittle. And because of that, it just makes everything that little bit harder. So yeah, for me, I really hope it's the normal plastic. And yeah, look, it's a really weird one whenever you've got a character like this that just has really a single tone and colour throughout. And obviously, as you can see here with the, as always, amazing paint job, you can add highlights and things on there as well. But, really, he's kind of a monotone dude. So, yeah, it's always interesting when you come to paint. It'll be interesting to see what painting schemes you guys out there come up with. Okay then, guys, so Iceman, aka Bobby Drake. He's got a 4-3-3 stat line. He's got 5 stamina on his front. He's a 3 threat. He's size 2. And he is a medium move. So that medium move on that medium base is going to be really, really nice. And 4-3-3 stat line for a 3 threat is pretty good. It's above average, but he has, he does only have the 5 stamina to kind of counteract that. Let's take a look at his only builder. So Freezing Blast, it's going to be an energy attack. It's going to be a beam 3, strength 4, and it's going to be a flat builder, which is, pretty standard on beam attacks. When they are your builders, you're only going to get a flat 1 for them. But ideally, you want to be hitting 2, sometimes maybe even 3 people with this, meaning that his power generation is going to be really, really good. So no, I don't have any issues with him with his power generation. And then on a wild, it's going to be slow. After each attack is resolved, the target character gains the slow special condition. Slow is one of those conditions that I think is a little bit underrated. Now, obviously, there's a whole bunch of characters in this game where it doesn't really do anything to, unless you've got something that in particular affects slow. But just taking a character, with a charge, like a Zemo with his long move, or as I mentioned, an Angela, or even, Wolverine with his charge and things like that. It can really, really hurt them. And especially on the right map setup, where you are maybe a little bit more spread out, it can really, really come into play. So don't mind the slow on there at all. And of course, it's very thematic with it being the Freezing Blast. Next up then, his spender is going to be Chill, another energy attack. Interesting that they decided to go for energy with his sort of ice attack. I think they could have gone in either direction. They could have seen it as more as physical, but obviously they've decided to go down the energy route, which I don't mind. There are not a whole abundance of energy attackers in the X-Men. I know that obviously Cyclops is energy, but in my mind he should be physical. If you know anything about what his laser eyes that are most definitely not laser eyes do. But I think in terms of the lower threat characters, the non-leaders, I'm just trying to rack my head now. If there's any that have got them, and I can't. They might have one or two, but some energy attacks. 3 threat is never a bad thing. So chill is going to be a range 3. It's going to be 7 strength, and it's going to be 3 cost, and it's going to be a stagger on a wild. So nothing spectacular with his 2 attack moves, but let's see what else we've got here then. So his only active ability is going to be freeze and fade. It's going to cost 2 power. It's going to be an action. This character immediately makes an attack action followed by a move action. This character counts as size 5 during this move action. This superpower can only be used once per turn. Okay, so this is hit and run, but he does get something extra, a little something extra. So why is size 5 important? Well, it means that he gets to use that full medium move over any size terrain. It effectively is the same thing as what flight gives you. So you become size 5, or you count as size 5 whilst moving, which means that he'll be able to move directly over any terrain without having to lower his speed from a medium down to a slow. So that's nice, and the fact that it doesn't cost any more than a hit and run is pretty good. He's then got a reactive ability, which is Ice Slide. Again, it's going to cost 2 power. During this character's activation, when it begins a move action within range 2 of another allied character of size 2 or less, it may use this superpower. After this move action is resolved, place the allied character within range 2 of its current position. This superpower can only be used once per turn. So this is quite nice. We've seen it sort of before with Captain Sam has a similar thing. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a drop-off-esque type thing, obviously without an attack at the back end of it. I really like this, and the reason I really like this is because of the X-Men now under Scott in particular. You can get an extra power onto him, and you've got characters like Wolverine, who typically you're activating last. You want to try and get them up the board so that they can get that charge off round 1. And because of Scott's leadership, you can get power into Iceman, meaning that he starts with 2 power, meaning that he can do this. He can move Wolverine up. But even just as some board manipulation, being able to get a character into a better position, being able to have multiple characters on points, being able to reset a character that has been pushed or thrown off, it's nice. And on having it on something like a 3 threat character feels pretty good. And then lastly is Cold Snap. It's going to be an innate ability. When an enemy character ends a movement or attack action within range 2 of this character, it gains the slow special condition. If the enemy already has the slow special condition, it suffers 1 damage instead. So this is really interesting because, again, I like it when they do a little bit of something extra with the special conditions that are put out there. As I said, slow I think is a little bit underrated. I think it definitely has an impact on the game, on the right map setup. But this is really nice, especially because if they already have the slow, they're going to take a single damage. So they're really going to have to think about what they're doing, and the fact it's a move or an attack action within 2 means that you putting your opponent in a position where they really need to think about what they want to do. And one damage might not seem like a lot, but that 3 or 4 times on 3 or 4 different characters, couple of damage here, couple of damage here over the duration of a game, and all of a sudden those semi-whiff rolls that you got with Logan, where you only did 3 damage rather than the 5 you expected on a best at what I do and things like that, it sort of mitigates those. So yeah, I quite like it. I really like it. I mean, overall thoughts are, there's not a huge amount of text on his card. His stat line is pretty good, 433. That 5 stamina is always going to hurt him, but he is a 3 threat character, right? So that is what it is. I would have liked to have seen something, because he's ice. He goes up against Pyro. They kind of they face off against each other. They are the yin and yang, if you like. I would have liked to have seen something that, snuffed out or something like that, where he was able to remove Incinerate, but maybe that would have bumped his cost up too much. And I think because Pyro's a 3-threat, you then want to make Iceman a 3-threat. And I think he should only be a 3-threat as well anyway. Or maybe Ice Wall or something like that could have been interesting. But overall, I'm fairly happy with what's on his card. Let's take a quick look at the back side of his card and see if there is anything different. So let's just have a quick look here. It doesn't look like there is. So 433 is the same. 5 stamina, cold snap, ice slide, freeze and fade. So yeah, he remains identical on his injured side. So yeah, like I say, guys, overall, I think he is solid. Maybe some of those abilities that I mentioned we could see in tactics cards and that sort of thing, because they're quite powerful, especially on a 3-threat. So I would see that as being something nice for that. Pyro has got his thing where he can dish out loads of incinerates. It seems like Slow is going to be Iceman's. Pyro also has the ability to take objectives off people, make them drop them. So again, it'd be nice to see something not along the similar lines, but something that was a little bit unique to Iceman, that was good in those team tactics cards as well. So yeah, overall, guys, I think he's solid. I think you'll see him make an appearance. He's going to be a pretty good extract play, purely because of that medium move, and the fact that that 1 damage or slow when people end or move within 2, it's really going to have to, your opponent's really going to have to think about what they do. And I'm just looking, it's innate. So yeah, there's no, it just happens. Yeah, it just happens. So that's pretty darn good. That is pretty darn good indeed. Guys, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. A quick reminder that I do have, to celebrate my 40th birthday, yes, I know I don't look old enough, the 6K subs, and just generally 2023 as a whole, we do have a $50 Amazon giveaway at the moment. I don't think I mentioned before what you need to do. So you need to make sure that you've subscribed, you need to make sure that you've hit the like button, and you need to leave a comment on this or any other video over the next couple of weeks. I appreciate I've not done many videos over the past couple of weeks, so I'm going to do a couple more videos before we do the draw. And then another quick reminder that we do have the first ever episode of the Rich Mid Show, the bi-weekly show or fortnightly show. We cover off all things tabletop gaming, wargaming, board gaming that we've been doing over the past 2 weeks. This will be a bit of a bumper episode because it'll be over the past past month or so. But make sure you check that out. We'll be going live at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, so that's 6:30 p.m. UK time, right here on YouTube. I want to give a big shout out to all of my Patreons. Thank you so much for all of your support, and if you do want to support me on Patreon, you can do so from as little as £1 a month down in the description below. Make sure you check out the Discord. We've got MCP, we've got Shatterpoint, we've got the Old World, plus a whole bunch of other stuff as well. And as always, it leaves me with just enough time to say stay well, keep safe, and until next time, bye for now.